often said with different genetics, they kind of have different nutrient requirements, so they uptake nutrients differently. So I've got to ask, when you're in like a recirculating system, for example, let's say an 8 bucket system, for example, and you're running 8 different strains in there, some folks will come across problems with some plants and not others. Some
Right.
plants are healthy while other plants might be have a little bit deficient in some way. What are some ways to kind of combat that?
You're a professional. These are great questions. That particular situation, and this may sound kind of like a self-serving answer, but one of the benefits of using water culture is that this is where it has some level of a similarity to, say, living soil or basically ecologically gardening. Because part of what you're doing is you are introducing a plant into a healthy environment that it then creates relationships with. And in ecological gardening, you have microbiology, you have different things at play that maybe make certain elements more available or compounds more available. In water culture, what you have is the ability for a plant that is more vigorously feeding is also more vigorously consuming solution, right? And so if it's doing that, and this kind of gets into physics where it's like velocity plays a role in that. So if you have a plant that is consuming more solution, and though it may, let's go say plant A and plant Z are different. Plant Z is feeding at 25% higher than plant A. Would it be ideal if you could run the EC higher for that plant? Yeah. I mean, I think so. That's up for question again for the reason I'm putting forward here. But what will happen is if you are in a safe range, and this is one of the benefits of having less is more when it comes to the EC, is the plant that needs more will consume solution at a higher rate, therefore transpiring more and inherently uptaking more minerals as a result, right? And so we've found that one of the benefits of water culture is that you can actually run dissimilar varieties, and there's some, what would you say, there's some limitations with that in terms of feeding, that they may need, and have plants that can adapt that are lower feeders in environments that are the higher feeders. Now you may need to bias towards the higher feeder to not be seeing deficiencies, and tools what we would employ through the process, and there's certainly limitations going into flower, but augment with foliar sprays, right? There are benefits and ways plants can uptake without having to change the chemistry of the solution. And so one of the benefits of this being the case is, so for instance, we promote mother plant growth or donor plant growth in RDWC, and we've had instances where people will be introducing in rooted cuttings into a system that has a 5 foot tall plant in it, right? And it's just like, how does that work? Well, it's because you're picking a target. Typically, in this case, maybe it's just about one EC or something on the lower end that young plant can adapt into, but is still feeding the other plants just fine. And so that again, one of the benefits of water culture is it's similar to a living soil bed in that you're creating a suitable environment that the plant can adapt to.